Hi there, my name is Shub, and welcome to Little Wisdom, where we look into science and spirituality to strengthen our wisdom and self awareness. In today's episode, we will talk about self doubt, taming wild elephants, and 3 science backed tips to start removing them today. Removing doubts, not elephants. We love elephants. Curious? Keep listening. I want to jump into today's episode with a question. Do you know how wild elephants are tamed? Yes? No? Maybe? Elephant crushing is the practice of taming wild elephants after they are captured. There are various inhumane ways that this is done, but a common one is forcing the elephant into a tight wooden enclosure. Over the new period of time, the elephant is jabbed and poked, often deprived of sleep, food, water, and of course, deprived of its freedom. This horrific process loosely translates to breaking the spirit in some of the languages of countries that still practice it. And the interesting thing is this. In spite of being chained to a peg that's merely like a toothpick to this animal, the elephant will not pull when it's grown up and weighs up to about 4,000 kilograms. Why? Because it remembers the earlier pain as a young elephant. So, the trainers have not so much managed to tame the elephant, but rather tame its mind. Elephants, of course, have a desire and a spirit to live freely, and so do we. And we too are held back by our chains, enclosures, and pegs of fear. We either let them hold us, or sometimes we even tie these chains around other people. Take a moment now. Think of something that maybe happened today. Maybe it happened this week. You had an idea. You wanted to do something, you thought it was great, but you held back. Now, unless that idea was some stupid challenge about eating Tide Pods, in which case, good on you for holding back. But more often than not, it was likely something you really wanted to do. And it was probably something reasonable as well. Maybe you wanted to go to the gym, but were afraid that people will look at you. Or maybe you didn't speak up in a meeting for fear of being judged. While your doubts will always make a guest appearance in your life, sometimes as guests that overstay, the problem sets in not only when you or people around you say these things, it's when somewhere inside you believe it. But please know, that doesn't necessarily make it true. Mark Manson, in his book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Beep, sums it up really nice. I'm going to substitute the word here for fish. So he said, you have a limited amount of fish to give. Very few, in fact. And if you go around giving a fish about everything and everyone without conscious thought or choice, well, then you're going to get fished. So the impact, I'm sure, is probably a little different with the original word, but I'm sure you get what he's trying to say. When I look back at my own life, I have passed up on a lot of opportunities because I was too chicken and too self-critical. I regret it because I know that time is not going to come back. One day, while washing my face, I looked up and noticed strands of white hair near my temples. I'd been seeing them for a while, but today they were definitely there in all their revolutionary glory. And it hit me that I'm getting older. A part of me felt very happy that this new stage of life was coming. I feel the older I get, the more I become myself. I don't know if that makes sense. But at the same time, I also realized that there will come a day when I will no longer be as I am now. Not in a sad way, but it was just a factual moment. That this will not stay forever. And I've held back on so many things, assuming the right moment will come. And then I will do it. Wake up call. If you want that moment to arrive, you need to walk towards it. There is no perfect timing. You need to start now. We have a saying in Hindi. It's an Indian language. It's not called Hindu and it's not called Indian. The saying is, Kal kare so aaj kare so ab. Basically means, tomorrow's work should be done today, and if you're gonna do it today, do it now. Instead of holding back with doubt and wondering what could have happened, isn't it better to know and get past it? Regret is probably the worst feelings of all time because you're upset over something that will never change. It can turn into a vicious cycle where what if becomes your best friend, but more like a toxic best friend. So how can we battle self-doubt? Here are 3 tips backed by science that you can start doing now. Number 1, don't tell people your plans. Okay, so this sounds a little pessimistic and a pessimistic one to start with, but hear me out. In a highly popular TED Talk by Derek Sivers, he's a musician and entrepreneur, and industries like that are riddled with fears and people trying to pull you down. He explains how various studies have shown that telling someone our goal makes us less likely to accomplish it, because our brains mistake the talking for the doing. The acknowledgement and hurrah you receive from telling people removes the motivation to actually make it happen. I'll link the TED Talk later, so do go check it out, but bear that in mind. So, of course, I'm guessing if it's something that you really do need to tell someone close to you, if you're going to be gone for a couple of hours a day, I guess I'm pretty sure it's important. But more often than not, try not to advertise it everywhere until it's done. This brings me to the second tip. Watch your close five. They say you are the average of 5 people that you spend the most time around. But basically, who are the 5 people you spend the most time around? These people, due to the time and proximity, will have a strong influence on your life. According to Dr. John Cunius, he is a professor of brain science and psychology. He claims that your neural pathways can change even after a 20-minute conversation with someone. So, the people that you are around for a large part of your day, every day, can have an effect on how you feel about yourself. If you're feeling unhappy and walking away feeling a little bit less about yourself, well, not the best company, my friend. Find people who uplift you and you know they have your best interests at heart. Now, if you're in a situation where this is tough to do, I mean, the world is going through a pandemic, maybe you live with these people, maybe you're in a community where it's tough to go out and find your new 5, then find 5 inspirational figures. Watch what they say, read their books, and what they've done to inspire you. Learn from them and make them your close 5. Number 3, and the last one for today, it's called Write It and Give It Love. So whenever I have trouble deciding, I think about someone close to me and what I would tell them if they were in the situation. So when you have doubt, write them all out. Don't judge, just jot it all down and then think of someone you love. Your friend, your sibling, your parent, child, spouse. And see that if they were thinking all of these things, what would you tell them? Then whatever you want to tell them, extend that same support to yourself. All right, so those are the 3 tips to start the daily little efforts of breaking chains of self-doubt. Don't tell people your plans, watch your close 5, and write your doubts and give it love. And remember to do the same for others too. Support them, don't pull them down with more chains. I hope this was useful to you. As usual, I'd love to hear uplifting stories of overcoming doubt. I'm also linking the TED Talk that I spoke about earlier, and also ways that you can support rescued elephants. I have not visited all of these organizations myself. This is from my own online research, but I still encourage you to do your due diligence. Do check it out, and I'll see you next time on Little Wisdom. Thanks for listening. Stay healthy, stay wise, and crush those doubts. See you next time.